Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. I hope you all are well and doing great. So today I'm back with another video to continue our UCAT test preparation. As you guys know, we have completed our two types of decision making, that is syllogisms and logical puzzles. If you guys haven't seen the videos on these questions and on the verbal reasoning one and on the tour tutorial, question bank tutorial, you can watch my videos in this channel and then you can further continue with the next videos. Okay, so today we're going to start our next type of decision making, which is recognizing assumptions. Instructions. In these questions, you are asked to evaluate arguments for and against a particular solution to a problem. You are required to evaluate the strength of the arguments. There is only one correct response per question. So click the next button to proceed. So we have again 35 questions in this type, and we are at the question number 1, which is, should we focus more on rehabilitating offenders rather than punishing them for the crimes they commit? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, crimes are often committed by people with serious personal issues. Option B, yes, focusing on the cause of crime will ultimately lead to a reduction in crime. Option C, no, it doesn't matter what causes the crime. A crime is still a crime. Option D, no, victims of crime needs to see that justice has been done. So here we have a correct option is option B. A is incorrect because it does not describe an outcome of rehabilitation. B is correct because it is the strongest argument that deals with the outcome of rehabilitation. C is incorrect because it does not give a reason why a crime is still a crime, requires punishment. Option D is incorrect because it does not explain why justice could not take the form of rehabilitation. So that's why we have the option B is the correct option. This is the reason, or you can say the strongest argument that related to the question. Next we have the question number 2, which says, in order to improve children's health, should fast food shops be banned from selling junk food to children at lunchtime during school terms? So select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, junk food is a major cause of obesity and poor health in children and may reduce their ability to benefit from education in the afternoon. Option B, yes, children who leave school to visit junk food shops at lunchtime will be unsupervised and become a nuisance in the neighborhood. Option C, no, this will reduce the number of customers fast food shops have and may very well put the owners out of business, increasing unemployment. Option D. No, lunch times are too short, and if children can't get home for lunch, it is important that there is somewhere they can go for cheap food. So here we have option A is the correct because it addresses the main point about children's health. It recognizes the link between obesity and poor health and junk food. B is incorrect because it is not related to the point in the question about junk food having an adverse effect on health. C is incorrect because it ignores the issue about children's health and comments on profit and employment. Now, option D is incorrect because it focuses on convenience rather than health. So we have a correct option is option A. This is the strongest argument related to the question. Should the government make wearing a uniform compulsory in all schools? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A. Yes, school uniform prevents students from being judged by the clothes they wear. Option B. Yes, compulsory school uniform prepares pupils for the world of work. Option C. No, enforcing school uniform would add to a head teacher's workload. Option D. No, school uniforms are expensive for parents to purchase. So here we have correct response is A. Is correct because it considers the impact of the government's action to all those wearing the uniform. B is incorrect because the world of work will not necessarily mean a uniform is required. And some students may not enter the world of work will not necessarily mean a uniform is required, and some students may not enter the world of work. C is incorrect because it only considers the impact of government's action for certain individuals. D is incorrect because it only considers the subset of parents who would find school uniforms expensive. So here we have option A is the correct option. Should the maximum speed limit on motorways be reduced to improve road safety? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A. Yes, reducing the speed limit will cut harmful fuel emissions. Option B. No, the accident rate at lower speed limits is no different to that at higher speed limits. Option C. No, it is difficult to stop drivers ignoring the present speed limit. A new speed limit would be ignored in the same way. Option D. No, the real problem is slow drivers. It would be better to have a minimum speed limit. So here we have correct response is option B, but A is incorrect because the argument isn't connected to road safety. B is correct because it is the only argument that deals with the aim of improving road safety. And C is incorrect because the argument isn't connected to our road safety. D is incorrect because it doesn't explain why slow drivers are the real problem. So here we have a correct option is option B, that no, the accident rate at lower speed limits is no different to that at higher speed limits. To reduce costs, increase accuracy, and improve turnout, should voting in election be undertaken online or exceptionally by post? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A. Yes, online or postal voting would be more convenient for voters and would therefore be likely to improve overall turnout. Option B. Yes, electronic voting and counting would provide results more rapidly and win with less chance of error than present counting methods. Option C. No, the necessary equipment would be expensive to buy. Electronic voting would discourage some from voting and hackers might well interfere with the result. Option D. No, such innovations would be change for the sake of change. The voting and counting system work effectively at present, so there is no need to change them. So let's see which option is the correct one. So here we have option C is correct. Option A is incorrect because while it makes a good argument about turnout, it doesn't refer to accuracy or cost. Option B is incorrect because while it claims electronic voting improved efficiency, it doesn't explicitly address the points posed in the question. Option C is incorrect. Option C is correct because it responds to all of the issues raised in the question: cost, accuracy, and turnout. Making it the strongest option, it points out that acquiring new equipment could be expensive, might discourage some from voting, and could be open to hacking. And D is incorrect because it doesn't address the points raised in the question. So here we have the correct option is C, that no, the necessary equipment would be expensive to buy. Electronic voting would discourage some from voting, and hackers might well interfere with the result. Should the number of university student places on arts or humanity courses be drastically cut? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, they are not academically rigorous. Option B, yes, because the country does not need people with art backgrounds. Option C, no, because otherwise all the arts lecturers would be without work. Option D, no, because many students benefit from the transferable skills they teach. So the correct option is D, and the A is incorrect because this statement is a matter of opinion, and even if true, not a strong reason that why the number of students on these courses should be cut. B is incorrect because it does not consider the students who would continue with the courses. The number of students would be cut, but there would still be some left. C is incorrect because not all arts lecturers would be without working. Some would continue to teach the remaining students. D is correct because it describes the use of these courses from many of the people involved in them, that is, many students. So that's why we have option D as a correct option, which is no, because many students benefit from the transferable skills they teach. Would society be safer if urban areas had designated dog walking areas where pets could be exercised without causing danger to people? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, it is better for dogs that live in towns to be exercised in separate areas where they cannot frighten people and leave waste that can be harmful to children. Option B, yes, it is important that dogs are properly exercised, and ideally they should be allowed to be free to run off the lead without restriction. Option C, no, it is the responsibility of dog owners and not local councils to find somewhere to exercise dogs safely away from people and dangerous traffic. Option C, no, it is the responsibility of dog owners and not local councils to find somewhere to exercise dogs safely away from people and dangerous traffic. Option D, no, towns and built up areas are already overcrowded and any undeveloped land should be used to provide new houses rather than playgrounds for pets. So, option A is correct because it addresses the question of safety and also the particular concern of danger to children as a specific group of people. Option B is incorrect because it focuses on the needs of dogs and not the danger to people. Option C is incorrect because it focuses on who should provide the designated areas rather than the danger to people. So option D is incorrect because it doesn't acknowledge that the reasoning behind providing the designated areas is to reduce the danger to people. So these are the reasons that these options are incorrect, and we have the correct option is option A. That is, yes, it is better for dogs that live in towns to be exercised in separate areas where they cannot frighten people and leave waste that can be harmful to children. Should most students regard going to university as a preparation for life and a time to acquire useful, transferable skills rather than providing vocational training for a particular job? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, most university courses are not intended to equip students for a specific job, but rather to equip them for a wide range of possible jobs and lifestyles. Option B, yes, most students at university are living away from home for the first time and are learning to live independently, making their own decisions. Option C, no, most people go to university because they have a clear future career plan in mind and know exactly what they want to study and why. Option D, no, architects know they want to be architects and teachers know they want to be teachers. University is all about meeting specific vocational aims. So option A is correct because the argument raises the importance of equipping students for a wide range of possible jobs and lifestyles, which strengthens the argument that university provides preparation for life and useful transferable skills. Option B is incorrect because while largely true, it says nothing about education, transferable skills, or vocational training. So, is a weak argument to the question posed. C is incorrect as the argument doesn't offer evidence that argues against universities providing transferable skills and preparation for life. Option D is incorrect as the argument may be true of the specific vocational aims of some but not for most whose degree will meet their vocational aims in general. So we have a correct option is option A, which says yes, most university courses are not intended to equip students for a specific job, but rather to equip them for a wide range of possible jobs and lifestyles. In order to reduce fatal motoring accidents, should cars be fitted with a device to limit the speeds at which they can travel? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, many deaths are caused by drivers who break the law by speeding. Option B, yes, driving at fast speeds uses more fuel and increases pollution. Option C, no, people should decide for themselves how fast they drive. Option D, no more road deaths are caused by drink driving than by speeding. So option A is correct because the argument notes that a major cause of road fatalities is driving at excessive speed, and if drivers won't observe the speed limit laws willingly, then they should be compelled to mechanically. Option B is incorrect as it brings in the argument of using more fuel and increasing pollution, which, while true, does not directly answer the question posed. Option C is incorrect as it doesn't address the point about fatal motoring accidents. Option D is incorrect as it doesn't address the point about limiting speed. So we have the option A is correct option, which says that yes, many deaths are caused by drivers who break the law by speeding. This is the strongest argument. Should society, rather than family members, be ultimately responsible for the care of older people when they are no longer mentally or physically able to care for themselves? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, where families are able to help and support the elderly, they should, but if not, society should have responsibility to act to ensure they are well cared for. Option B, yes, mentally ill patients are often too difficult for an untrained family member to support, regardless of how much they would like to do so. Option C, no. If society ceased such involvement, it would mean families had to stick together to care for their relatives, young as well as old, themselves. Option D, no, everyone has a life to live. The elderly should not expect society or relatives to care for them. They should save up and themselves pay for care they need later in life. So here we have option A is correct because it mentions both society and family members. It recognizes that while family members could be ultimately responsible for the care, there are circumstances where the family cannot help. It recognizes that while family members could be ultimately responsible for the care, there are circumstances where the family cannot help or may not even exist. So, society should willingly act to ensure the elderly person is well cared for. B is incorrect as it only refers to mentally ill patients. C is incorrect because whilst the argument addresses the importance of family caring for each other, it does not present an alternative and is therefore not as strong as option A. D is incorrect because in reality it would be very difficult for some individuals to manage this expectation financially, and support from relatives would still be requiring given the individual's vulnerability. So here we have the option A again as a correct option, that yes, where families are able to help and support the elderly, they should. But if not, society should have responsibility to act to ensure they are well cared for. Do higher prices usually mean items for sale are better quality? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, it is certain that goods and services offering higher specifications or better quality will cost more. Option B, yes, people would not pay a higher price for an item if they could get the same product or service cheaper elsewhere. Option C, No, sometimes the prices are set at a higher level as a marketing ploy to make people falsely assume they are better quality goods. Option D. No, prices may sometimes be higher in one outlet or another, but better quality items invariably have higher prices than inferior quality items. So here we have option C is correct and option A is incorrect because it does not represent a strong enough argument explaining why the items will cost more. B is incorrect because it refers to the price of the item but not the quality. C is correct because the option provides another explanation for higher prices that the seller recognizes that consumers correlate higher prices to better quality, thereby enticing them to buy. Now, D is incorrect because it contradicts itself. While prices of the same item may vary between outlets, better quality items have higher prices. This is a weak argument. So that's why we have the option C is the correct option, which says no, sometimes the prices are set at a higher level as a marketing ploy to make people falsely assume they are better quality goods. Should breaching copyrights or patents such as patents such as a copying video or a medicine be a civil offense for which compensation must be paid rather than a criminal one leading to a fine or prison sentence? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, most breaches are harmless and no one is hurt, so it would be excessively if the individuals receive a criminal record. It is at worst a civil offense justifying payment of compensation, but should probably simply attract a warning. Option B, yes, failing to pay fees to a copyright or patent holder whose work has been incorporated into a product without permission is undesirable, but not as serious as a criminal offense. Option C, no, making or selling imitation products based on a patented design without permission is theft, which is a crime. Such actions deceive purchasers and deprive the patent holder of income. Option D, no, copying foodstuffs which have their own trademarkers and protected recipes or music or medicines is criminal because the purchaser is not getting the goods expected, but you cannot send whole companies to prison. So option C is the correct response, but let's see why the other ones are not correct. A is incorrect because it presents itself from the perspectives of the individual who breached the copyright or patent. It doesn't recognize the rights of those who hold the copyright and downplays the impact. B is incorrect because it also downplays the act of failing to pay fees following a breach of copyright. If it was purely undesirable, then copyright and patent protections wouldn't exist in the first place. It is a weak argument. C is correct because it recognizes the impact of breaching copyright or patents to both the purchaser of the product and the holder of the copyright. It makes the connection to theft, which is a criminal offense, and so is the strongest argument presented. D is incorrect because it is only presents the perspective of the purchaser of an imitation product and does not take into account the holder of the copyright or patent. So here we have again the option C is the correct option, which says no, making or selling imitation products based on a patented design without permission is theft, which is a crime. Such actions deceive purchasers and deprive the patent holder of income. Should there be laws in place to prevent social networks from allowing children under the age of 13 from signing up? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, signing up for social media websites exposes children to the dangers of the internet. Option B, yes, social media companies should be held to account for the activity of their users, and legalization concerning lower age limits enables this accountability. Option C, no, children are best safeguarded by schools educating children on the dangers of the internet. Option D, no, age limiting the use of social media does not help children in the long term. Responsible adults must educate children and make decisions that are right for each child. So the option D is the correct option. This is because it is the parents' responsibility to keep the children safe online. And option A is incorrect because it does not deal with who is responsible for the children signing up for social media accounts. Option B is incorrect because social media companies are not responsible for the activities of users. Option C is incorrect because it suggests schools are responsible for keeping children safe online rather than parents. So here we have a correct option is D, that says no. Age limiting the use of social media does not help children in the long term. Responsible adults must educate children and make decisions that are right for each child. To help low paid workers, should a maximum wage be established so that the highest paid workers in an organization may be paid no more than 10 times what the lowest paid receive? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, because a maximum wage would effectively mean a pay cut for the highest paid. If their pay was limited to no more than 10 times the income of the lower paid in the organization. Option B, yes, because a maximum wage for the highest paid would enable an organization to manage costs and pay rises for senior staff will have the immediate effect of increasing wages for low paid workers. Option C, no. A maximum wage would remove incentives for the highest paid to make the organization grow and succeed, and do nothing to help the low paid. The ceiling should be 50 times the lowest paid, not 10 times. Option D, no. A maximum wage would damage the organization because it would mean there was no relationship between pay and levels of productivity in the workforce. Workers currently earn as much as their performance justifies. So option B is the correct option and option A is incorrect because it does not conclude that the lower paid would be helped by a maximum wage. Option B is correct because the argument acknowledges a maximum wage would help the lower paid workers as a pay rise for the more senior staff would result in a pay rise for the lowest paid workers. Option C is incorrect because it focuses on problems for the highest paid rather than how low paid workers can be helped. Option D is incorrect because it assumes that workers are paid upon performance and ignores how low paid workers can be helped. So that's why we have the option B is the correct option, that yes, because a maximum wage for the highest paid would enable an organization to making costs and pay rises for senior staff would have the immediate effect of increasing wages for low paid workers. Should squash be made an Olympic sport? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes. If tennis is an Olympic sport, then squash should be as well. Option B, yes. Squash is played more than 185 countries and played by millions of people each week. Option C, no. There are already 3 racket sports. Another would not add anything to the Olympics? Option D. No. Millions of people do not enjoy watching squash. The game is too fast for spectators to enjoy. Option B is the correct option, and option A is incorrect, as while the argument is valid, it is not as strong as a fact based argument presented in option B. B is correct because it is the only argument that provides a fact to back up the statement. It is played in many countries and by millions of people. C is incorrect, as while the argument is valid and refers to the Olympics, the argument is weaker than the argument given in B. Option D is incorrect because the argument is not in relation to the Olympics. So we have the correct option is option B, which says yes, squash is played in more than 185 countries and played by millions of people each week. In ethical terms, should interest rates paid to savers be fixed at 2%, below the rates charged to borrowers? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, this would prevent some lenders from charging immoral rates of interest to borrowers, sometimes 10 or 20 times what savers receive. Option B, yes, savers should always receive good interest rates because savers rely on their savings to produce a regular income for themselves. Option C, no, higher interest rates will encourage many people to save rather than spend their money, causing a fall in demand, which will lead to firms going bankrupt and workers losing jobs. Option D, no. Since savers and borrowers are usually different people, there is no moral or practical reason why there should be any link between them. Option A is correct because it refers to ethical considerations. It points out that the proposal would prevent borrowers being charged greatly inflated rates of interest compared to savers. Option B is incorrect because it refers to savers needing to be paid a regular income from good interest rates, but says nothing about either the interest rates that borrowers should be charged or about ethical considerations. C is incorrect because it focuses on savers and the fact that high rates may increase savings and reduce demand in the economy, but says nothing about either the interest rates that borrowers should be charged or about ethical considerations. D is incorrect because it rejects any moral or practical reason as to why interest rates for borrowing and saving should be linked in any way. So now we know that option A is the correct option because of this reason. And it says yes, this would prevent some lenders from charging immoral rates of interest to borrowers, sometimes 10 or 20 times what savers receive. Have print newspapers lost their appeal in the age of the internet? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, because the internet is relatively faster and provides quick access to updated news. Option B, yes, because print newspapers offer the same set of information as internet news. Option C, no, because print newspapers still hold a strong base among the elderly population. Option D, no, because the trustworthiness of internet news is still questionable. So option A is correct because it brings forth a very strong and a particular advantage of the internet over print newspaper. B is incorrect because it does not highlight any particular advantage of the internet over print newspapers, so it is a weaker argument. C is incorrect because it does not particularly compare print newspapers and the internet. Option D is incorrect because it is based on the assumption that internet news is not trustworthy but print newspapers are. So here we have a correct option is option A, which says yes, because the internet is relatively faster and provides quick access to updated news. Should owners of hybrid cars that help combat global warming pay a reduced road fund license for a maximum of 3 years after purchase? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, hybrid cars are more expensive to buy than ordinary vehicles, so potential purchasers need incentives to spend extra money. Option B, yes, it is important to encourage people to drive vehicles that do less harm to the environment if we are to combat global warming. Option C, no, since hybrid vehicles will benefit the environment for many years, tax concessions should be open-ended and not time-restricted. Option D, no, reduced road fund licenses mean the government gets less tax income, so that drivers of other vehicles are subsidizing richer people. So option C is the correct one, but let's see why the other options are incorrect. So here we have option A is incorrect because it doesn't link the reduced road fund license to environmental benefits or comment on a possible time limit. It focuses more on the issue of the cars being expensive to buy. B is incorrect because although it links the incentive to the environment, it doesn't address the 3-year maximum benefit. C is correct because the argument addresses the issue of global warming and the question of a time limit. D is incorrect because it doesn't comment on the environmental issue that is highlighted in the question and instead addresses the possible effects on government finance. So here you guys know that option C we have is the correct option. So the option C is correct, which says that no, since hybrid vehicles will benefit the environment for many years, tax concessions should be open-ended and not time restricted. So this we have the correct option. So that is all for today. I hope you guys enjoy the practice test questions. You get understand each and every part. If you have still any confusion, you can ask me in the comment section. I'll be back with another video. Till then, just take care and goodbye.